Rub it on the body like body shop. they can't chat to them.
Welcome one and all to another amazing night here in Tranquility.
We absolutely are in for a treat of a match here tonight, no question about it.
And the grenades from Pompu eliminate everybody on the field.
Now I'm between something as well is going to be applied as a death blossom, and it's going to be huge. Fighting 3.
The double kill with the Bastion ulti? Alright, I see you guys.
For B-Well, look to find a stick there, finds the stick, they find two with it!
Those who find the picks will save the fight, and they don't really need to save what they've already won.
And Cam with the 4-man punch off the map!
Experience tranquility.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Harmony Tier Monday, Week 3 here in Tranquility Gaming. I am MisterYeti, joined tonight by Henry. How you doing tonight, Henry?
Pretty good. I'm excited to see this matchup for tonight. Kingpins versus Sirens. You know, Kingpins undefeated so far, looking to put their third win on the board. Sirens 1-1, looking to keep their positive streak going this week. It's going to be a lot of action. I'm excited.
Yeah, Kingpins this season came in with a good amount of hype. They got a lot of talent on that team. Looking at the roster, returning multiple past champions here in Tranquility between Doha and between Bard as well, along with some well-known names like Classy Turtle and Vex. This is a loaded roster, and the record shows it so far, showing up right now at 2-0.
Yeah, they're going up against Sirens, though. I have heard talk of Red Mudkip as the sleeper agent on this team, looking to cause some mayhem. I believe she was not originally playing DPS and now has made the swap over to that role for Sirens, so that'll be one player to watch for the Sirens roster this match.
Absolutely. Should be a very good matchup here tonight in the Harmony tier. Just as a reminder, we do have our B stream running tonight as well. You can tune in over at Tranquility GG2 for that match between Izanami and Colorado Carbon. Or you can pull up the multi-stream link, !multi-stream in the chat to pull that up, and you will have that screen up as well. It's the best way to support Tranquility is watch both of our streams. So thank you very much for tuning in here tonight. First map of the night, we are headed off to Oasis at night, and it should be a good startup here this week, going to Control to kick it off here instead of Push from last week. So a little bit more of a classic start here, starting off on the Control in this first of 3 match.
Yeah, Oasis is a pretty, I guess, volatile map. You can play a variety of different comps here. We've seen a lot of Brawl for the most part, but Dive is a prevalent option. And I believe we've seen just like wild picks as well. I think there was a Widow some tier recently. We had a Widow pick on Oasis that just shredded through an enemy team. But most likely going to be seeing an Arisal Brawl, maybe a Junker Queen thrown in there for both of these teams here.
Now, we do have Doha as well, well known for playing Pharah in these situations, so it would not surprise me to have Pharah show up here in the hands of Doha as well. Doha being a member of the championship-winning Galactic Penguins last season. It's been a part of Harmony Tier staple now for several seasons here in Tranquility. Teams not quite ready yet, so we are just waiting for just a couple minutes while they are getting loaded up. So nonetheless here, we do have a great night of matchup all across Harmony Tier today here in week 3. Believe it or not, stage 1 almost half, or is basically half over at this point. Once tonight gets done, only 2 weeks left, we go to the stage break and then we start positioning for playoffs. It's happening, and it's happening fast here, Henry. I know this is your first season in Tranquility, so you're not quite necessarily has seen the changeover yet here once we get over to stage 2.
Yeah, this is a new experience for me, but I'm loving it so far. All the teams bringing fire across every single tier. It's just been a blast to cast and watch all of these matches. I'm excited to see when we move into playoffs, because I think that a lot of these teams are closer than the scoreboard represents, right? And I think upsets are definitely to be seen, like when we move into these later weeks into playoffs. I don't know. A lot of these teams came into the first few weeks, maybe a little bit of nerves, haven't warmed up, haven't practiced with your team a lot. And now that these guys have been playing a lot of matches, they've been scrimming, the synergy's flowing, maybe they've ironed out some of the kinks in the meta. I think that the level of gameplay is just going to skyrocket for all of the teams here. And, you know, some of them are just going to ride that wave out. And it might be an unexpected team, might be somebody from the middle of the pack or even the bottom.
Exactly. I mean, that's the thing with Harmony Tier, too. Harmony Tier is always loaded with surprises. We saw it last season, Galactic Penguins being the first team to ever come from lower bracket at the start of the playoffs to win the finals in that turn in our playoffs. So that is a lot of unexpected things come about in Harmony, including compositions. You know, once you get up to the higher tiers, the Ascendance tiers, even the Transcendent tiers, you start to see that kind of standard always falling into meta type style. And Harmony Tier, you're going to see a little bit more Far Mercy, perhaps a little bit more cheeky plays, a little bit more kitschy kind of gimmick moves to try to catch your opponent off guard, maybe less experienced players who may not be ready to deal with kind of the unique scenario here. Looking at Kingpins, it looks like they're going to be coming out here with a bit of rush, putting Vex onto the Winston, moving out here with the Sombra and Reaper. So kind of an old school look here from Kingpins. Sirens going to be doing the Winston as well with the Genji Tracer. I can't say I fully expected this one here, Henry.
Yeah, if there's a point to play dive on, it's typically either this one or the more like, how you say? I don't know, the high ground one. That's not the library. Right. I think if you're Kingpins, Classy Turtle and the Reaper has to be a crucial piece here. It's going to deny Uber a lot of this space by just pumping out that damage. You can see already Uber falls low and has to retreat.
Absolutely, getting out of there right away. Uber Heavy falling back here. Chef's trying to get Sirens kind of topped off here as they kind of floundered in that initial push in. That Reaper's going to bring a lot of damage in, but the dive comes in. It's going to be actually Bard picking off Kazi's the ringer for Sirens right now, picking off that first kill in this matchup. And that's going to be a clean sweep there, other than Scythe. Everybody down here for Sirens, and it's going to be first cap to Kingpins.
Yeah, they managed to chase him down, which will be a nice stagger, giving them a little bit more percentage on the board. You can see how fast they can go with that Reaper. Just as soon as you get a pick, it's like everything almost collapses for this dive composition. It's very precise. If you make a single misstep, then the other team will capitalize on it, so you have to be extremely careful. You can see Kingpin's already setting up on this high ground. They know the power position. They want to hold it, deny all of that space with this Reaper.
Absolutely. Here we go. Reaper now in position on the high ground. Hack out to Uber Heavy there, who's going to jump up onto the high ground while debuffed. A very risky dive, and they pay the price for it there as Vex finishes off Uber. Sirens now down their tank, looking to fall back here, and it looks like Kingpins will continue to hold. A little skirmish on the exit here, but it looks like Kingpins are definitely in control right now.
Yeah, I think Scythe looking for a little bit of an escape, but if they can pick up Vex out of position, then they might be able to turn this one around, but it looks like no, Kingpin supports are going to be able to come in and help him out, and I think if they can, you know, force these guys out, the Sirens have a real shot about turning this fight around.
There's 3 ultimates coming in here for the Kingpins. We see Sound Barrier coming out from Kazi to try to turn this thing around. 3 ultimates invested all at once from Kingpins, and they really only got 1 kill from it. Now, granted, it was a good one, killing off the main tank there, but that's a lot of ultimate investment for very little return, and a good Sound Barrier from Kazi.
Yeah, Sound Barrier just a little bit too late to save Uber, but for the most part, you take that ultimate trade every single day. Coming up on your Pulse Bomb and Death Blossom for Sirens, they have a lot of ultimate to take this out, but the Death Blossom comes in, it's huge!
Classy Turtle coming up big with that Death Blossom. It doesn't matter how good your ultimates are if you don't press the Q first, and that was just a case and example there of Kingpins being aggressive, using ultimates first, and that so often, especially in a rush mirror, is going to win you the fight.
Yeah, they're going to hold up close here, try to deny the touch at all. And here comes the Death Blossom, but it's shut down. Scythe falls. Can they get a touch? They do. They manage to get on a point.
Absolutely, they get on to point just in time. Sound Barrier in from here we go. Red Mudkip with the big pulse bomb here, trying to find another with Chef helping finish them off. Red Mudkip trying to clutch up here for Sirens, taking very low, popping the recall, looking to put those pulse pistols to work here. Doing a good amount of damage right there to Vex, and Vig will go down as well. So it does finally look like Sirens might pull this off, but here comes Vex on the comeback here, taking on both Scythe and Uber. And now Bard right now with the hack in, trying to finish off the Lucio. Not quite going to be able to, force to translocate out. The fight continues on this point here. Red Mudkip doing a lot of work right now on this Tracer, but it's an EMP and a good one here from Bard, picking off 2, and both targets taken down right away. That is going to be Kingpins cleaning up a messy but effective final fight.
Yeah, that EMP build at the very end just leaves no room for Sirens on point. They fall immediately. Like, you can see how Kingpins are just playing with the initiative right now. They're taking these power positions very fast, getting there before Sirens can. Even though they are playing a relatively similar lineup, the only difference being that Tracer versus that Sombra. And you can see Vig now opting for this Baptiste on this point. We can see how the jump boots are so effective to get from high to low ground. And you know, the survivability you get from that regen burst and that lamp will be a lot useful. But Sirens make a complete swap over to an Orisa Brawl here with the Bastion, looking to just melt down Vex on this Winston.
Here we go with the change over in composition from Sirens. I do like this choice, going to a little bit more of an aggressive, more fortified brawl strategy. But a good hack from Bard is going to take Chef completely out of the equation. Did not account for the Sombra there. Scythe now pushing in on this Bastion. Lots of damage rolling through, but it doesn't matter if you end up in the pit, but they just barely hang on. Doesn't matter, however, as Scythe is taken down by Bard there after that boop off from Kazi. I'm sorry, from Wheezy, but Kazi there with the kill on the Bard. Kills trading out right now for both teams, with neither team taking full control quite yet, but it does look like Kingpins are going to finally finish off this one with Vig picking up a couple of big kills on the exit here.
Yeah, I thought at first that Sirens were going to be able to pick that one up because Scythe was able to pop his turret form and just delete Vex from existence. And normally I would say that a Winston for a Baptiste trade usually falls the way of the team that lost their Baptiste. But unfortunately, the Sirens were just not able to clean up those kills that they got. They weren't able to get a kill off of all those low members of Kingpins. And by the time Vex was able to get back, it just flipped that fight around.
Absolutely great job there from Kingpins right now. Classy Turtle on the high ground here. We see Immortality Field used by Chef early on here. Now that cooldown out of this one. And Kazi taken down now, lost a healer. That's a pretty good wall right there, zoning off a couple of players from Red Mudkip, but it doesn't matter. Damage already done. No Kazi means a lot less healing. And quite frankly, it's just far too much Kingpins right now. Sirens continuing to struggle to find a foothold here.
Yeah, ultimate's up for Kingpins. Sirens close behind, but like especially I think Red Mudkip on that Mei only at 40%. When you look at Kingpins, they're coming up on both of their DPS ults. So if Kingpins are patient, they're using their ultimates well timed here, they might be able to just carry this out honestly and secure this map 1.
Absolutely. Here we go now. Bard has an EMP nearly built up here. Going to look to get a hack in on the backline again. It's been effective so far. Hack once again onto the Baptiste, but it's going to be negated out here with that sound barrier. Look for that EMP potentially coming in from Bard, but it doesn't matter. There goes Vex early on in this one. Uber Heavy now pushing in very aggressively here on this Orisa, going to continue the aggression right into that Reaper, who's putting out a good amount of damage, but it doesn't seem to matter. Sirens finally getting a foothold here on the point. They will tip this one over with 86 or 85% on the clock here.
Yeah, Uber has to be very careful with that Orisa ult because you are playing into a Sombra, so either that manual hack or the EMP will be able to shut down the Terra Surge. So they have to be extremely careful about when they want to time things. Likewise, the Blizzard from Red Mudkip can also be shut down by that EMP. So Bart really has to pick his time and place to use this EMP, but if he can get a good one, this is going to be a fight swiftly in the side of the Kingpins.
Absolutely. Bard now EMP in their favor here. Going to look to get a powerful one out, and they use it, and it gets 4. It's huge. It's going to be followed up, but what a great stun there onto Classy Turtle. Huge stun, going to negate out that ultimate. Sound Barrier came in from Wheezy as well. So right now, Sirens holding off on 3 ultimates, and they will find Vig with that ultimate as well from Uber Heavy, using the Terra Surge very effectively, taking out the Orisa. Sound Barrier in from Kazi late, probably not necessary, but it does lock down this fight with Vex, the only one left here on point. They'll get taken down by Uber Heavy, and Sirens will continue to hold. Great absorption of those ultimates there from Sirens.
Yeah, Uber Heavy really came in clutch there with the stun onto Classy Turtle during that Death Blossom. I think if that had finished, they might have been able to pick up a kill onto one of the members of the Sirens. So being able to shut that down really kept them in that one, and they're just able to use their ultimates, especially the Blizzard, effectively to win that fight. Now they also sit on this Bastion ult and the window. So with the ultimate advantage, you have to look at this being a one-sided fight for Sirens.
Oh, we see the ultimates come through. Uber Heavy going to finish off Vex early. That's a big, big loss right there for Kingpins. And Wheezy's going to go down as well after a great spear from Uber Heavy. And Sirens remaining in control. They hadn't tilted a point into their favor yet this entire map. With one fight, they turn it around, and now they're staring at looking like they might be finishing it off here.
Yeah. I think Kingpins, you're trying to regroup, but also stay close to the point, and it's a very dangerous wire to walk, right? Taking lots of damage, so when you make this PH, you will be low. But they find Kazi, it's going to be big.
Kazi got caught playing way too aggressive there, pays the price for it. And Chef is going to get taken down as well. No supports now in the Sirens' hand, and Sirens paying the price there for that aggressive support play. Uber Heavy going to jump off, try to maybe switch over to a more mobile tank to get back to the point in time. Sirens now have 10% looking to get back. Kingpins, no ultimates in the actually EMP now for them here. So this fight definitely going to be favoring Kingpins coming in here. But Sirens coming in for the touch. They will get the touch as Kazi's going to sacrifice their life for it. And there comes the EMP. It's going to catch Chef and Scythe. And it's going to be Kingpins, despite a lot of pressure coming in from Sirens at the last minute here. It's going to be Kingpins taking down Oasis and going up 1-0.
Yeah, that last fight going up against both a Death Blossom and an EMP is just so unfortunate for Sirens. If they'd been able to win that last fight, they wouldn't have had to deal with that. And, you know, it looked like they might have been able to turn it around, but Kingpins at the 11th hour turn it over and take map 1 on Oasis.
Absolutely. It was a great effort there from Sirens at the very end. They almost managed to come back there. And like I said, they really were struggling to really kind of get anything going whatsoever on that map, but suddenly they did, and when they did, suddenly everything changed, and that's a good sign for Sirens. If you know that map didn't start off the way you wanted it, but you showed a lot of fight at the end there. It definitely showed a lot of promise for them potentially looking to swipe some maps here as this match goes on. Again, 1st to 3 tonight, so a good start here for Kingpins going up 1-0. But again, if you're Sirens, you got to feel pretty good about the progress you made there throughout that map.
Yeah, I think matching the dive at the very beginning, you already came out the gates without a Reaper, and that was just a critical tool for Kingpin's success on that first point. You know, the brawl on second point looked really good. If you're Kingpins, you have to be feeling some of the pressure right now. You know how close you were to losing that last map. And Sirens, I think moving into next map, if we have some sort of a brawl map available in the pool for them to pick, I think that they might be able to go there, play some comfort picks, and take it to Kingpins here.
Absolutely. Sirens got a good opportunity to come back right now. Keep in mind, by the way, we have our B stream running today as well. That's Tranquility GG2. You can also check out our multi-stream, !multi-stream in the chat. is the way to access that link there. It's the best way to support us here in Tranquility, catching both streams at the same time. Over there, you have Colorado Carbon taking on Izanami. That match still in map 1, I do believe, right now. So, but again, if you're looking to tune in, catch another match, you can tune in over there too. But stay right here. We got a good one between Kingpins and Sirens going on. Kingpins now up 1-0 here on this one. So we are currently waiting for the map pick. But Henry, again, that was a great match, great map here for Kingpins, and a lot of that's to be expected. We talked about the success of that DPS, of Kingpins, and I think they definitely shined throughout that map here.
Yeah, Kingpin's DPS just really able to get the most out of every single ultimate. I felt like every time I saw a Death Blossom or an EMP come out, it was always 1 or 2 in the kill feed for them. They were just very proactive with them as well. Always popping ults at the beginning of the fight, not waiting for the perfect moment, but just making sure they go fast. And, you know, when it comes down to it in a game of Overwatch, that can be the deciding factor sometimes, is which team pulls the trigger first.
Right. Absolutely. And we saw that quite a bit. That's a big thing, especially at this level of play, Gold and Platinum. One of the biggest things you can teach them at the macro level: use your ultimates first. You take advantage of those windows of opportunities before your opponent can take advantage of the windows that you give them. So it's really important to do those things at this level of play. And you're going to see the better teams, that cream rising to the top, typically for those teams who take control of that tempo there. But that being said, we're going to go to map 2 now. Map 2 is Sirens Choice. It's a hybrid map, and we're going to Eichenwald.
Yeah, Eichenwald, Paraiso, and Hollywood all in the pool. You know, I think if you're Sirens, Eichenwald seems like a good choice because you can play that brawl in first point, especially on defense, is very effective to shut people down. Even with that Mei at the choke is just so deadly. And, you know, you don't want to go to more of a Hollywood type map where Kingpin's already demonstrated that they are comfortable playing that dive. You know, Eichenwald kind of a mixed bag, and you can run what you feel comfortable with. So I expect to see Sirens run this Orisa brawl that we saw last point on Oasis, as they look pretty good on it. However, Kingpins, I feel like it's a bit of a toss-up on what they might pull out here.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I think you can see a lot of different things here from Kingpins. Sirens, I just really would like to see them continue that brawl. That Orisa play from Uber Heavy was really good, and I kind of want to see more. I really want to see what they could do with that composition, because I feel like it's the right composition to continue to roll forward with here in the hands of Uber Heavy here. It seemed to work really well, and also I think Scythe was extremely effective on that Bastion too, so I'd like to see that play continue here from Sirens. But again, it's Eichenwald. You could kind of run a lot of different things. You see Rush here, you see Dive, Wrecking Ball. I mean, a lot of different options on the table when you go to this map here for sure, so it's really unclear what to expect. Just so you guys know, again, there are other matches going on in Tranquility. Just want to update a couple scores while we're sitting here in this one, because you know, that's always fun seeing how the scores are looking in other matchups. Abyss up 2-0 over Boop right now. Boop is a team who was played against Kingpins last week and lost 3-1. And then in the Concordia Crimson versus Nutty Crackers, we see Nutty Crackers up 2-0 in that as well. So scores just starting to kind of come through right now. But again, if you want to watch this one here between Kingpins and Sirens, stay tuned. We have a B stream as well. You got Colorado Carbon and Izanami. You can tune in there as well.
Yeah, I think I gotta drop the hashtag notes cracked together. Yeah, support those wonderful players over there on their match, looking like they might take it in a 3-0 fashion. But over here, we're seeing the Pharah from Red Mudkip. I like this look. Sirens want to get deadly.
This is a different look, and they're bringing in the change, but we do see Kingpins with Bard on the Bastion, so that's going to be a little bit of a challenge here for Sirens to deal with. You got to figure with that Bastion being a very effective counter to Pharah right now in this composition. But nonetheless, Farmers in play, Red Mudkip using this Pharah, and that could be the little key here, the little wrinkle that can kind of turn this map in their favor here. Classy Turtle finishing off the Immortality Field. No Immortality Field now for Chef, using it early once again here in this map. But nonetheless, we see a lot of damage coming through on high, or a lot of pressure coming in on high from Red Mudkip, but it's going to be Vex finishing off Scythe here. And it looks like Sirens are just going with it looks like Kingpins are just going with the approach of just focusing on the core of Sirens and just kind of letting the Pharah try to do damage and just heal through it.
Yeah, one of the things that you have to do when you're playing into this Pharah composition is not be distracted by the Pharah. If you give the Pharah too much space, then, she just kind of distracts you from, the deadly Bastion on the field. You have two high damage heroes for the DPS picks of Sirens, so you kind of just have to pick one and go quickly. So Kingpins, I think speed is the big factor here for them. If they can take out the main core very fast with that Lucio perhaps going in with a speed boost, I think that'll be their path to success here.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think that's the best path to success here. Here we go now. Sirens pushing back in. The window used by Chef as well to try to heal through. We see another amplification matrix pushed in from Vig now for Kingpins. So Kingpins answering their own with their own amplification matrix. But it's going to be mostly negated here by Sirens who kite around. But it's going to be Classy Turtle picking up 2 with their E. That's not typical. But here Kingpins in control right now on Eichenwald.
Yeah, you can just see how much spam pressure Kingpins have between their DPS and the Orisa. And I think, if you're Sirens, that they swap off of this pharmacy comp to match the Kingpins here. Mm-hmm. And, you've already spent half the clock, and now you're switching comps to match these guys who already, understand theirs to a high degree. So it's got to be a big play.
Oh, that's a great combo there from the Sirens, and it's going to pay off. They find Bard right away. We see a sound barrier from Wheezy to try to bounce back. Classy Turtle's going to pop the overclock here and catch Kazi already. Kazi down. There goes Red Mudkip as well. Classy Turtle trying to turn this around for the Kingpins here. But they will get dropped by Uber Heavy. Right now, Sirens still just barely hanging on to potentially pushing this through, but it's going to be Big taken down by Chef. And here comes the Bastion ult now from Bard, and despite just quite a bit open, Uber Heavy with 2. I thought Kingpins were going to come back and take it, but it looks like Uber Heavy and Sirens are going to stay in control and hold on and maybe cap for first point. But here comes the recontest in now. Sound barrier going to be used by Kazi at the very end. Probably not needed in hindsight, but at the time, and it's hard to blame anybody when that fight's that chaotic here, Henry. But that's for point A to Sirens.
Uber Heavy just put the entirety of Sirens on his back, and it pays off. Lots of ults invested for both sides. You can see Kingpin's not really close to anything. Sirens, they do have that window and the overclock. So more tools in the bank. You kind of just want to run forwards. You have this momentum. Try to force these guys off of high ground and claim it for your own, right? So Kingpin's wanting to defend this spot.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And Kingpin's now going to hold onto this high ground here. Sirens pushing in. They have an overclock in hand here from Red Mudkip. Trades on the Baptiste. Still anybody's fight right now. Red Mudkip on this little stairwell here trying to do some damage. It's going to be Scythe taking down Vex. Uber Heavy goes down as well. So again, a trade of their tanks now. While this is all happening, this is all fine and dandy. The cart's still moving as Kazi's just been chilling on the cart.
Yeah, as trades go out, it really just favors whoever's on the payload, and it happens to be Sirens. They're already passing this bridge, and they might even get over to this large bridge area. The lower bridge, I guess, is the right way to say it, before Kingpins even get another contest. They've decided to opt for this high ground, and now you see Vex jump down and use his Terra Surge.
Oh, it's a big Terra Surge potential there, but nothing found on that. But Red Mudkip's going to get caught by Vig and taken down. Scythe going to finish off Vex, though. No tank now for Kingpins as Wheezy bouncing around the cart trying to stay alive. But it's going to be Vig from the high ground putting on a ton of pressure. And that's, I know Bard is showing up in the kill feed, but so much of that is just an uncontested Baptiste on the high ground, raining down pressure and healing. And that was a great play there from Vig from Kingpins.
Yeah, it's almost like you have a third DPS there for Kingpins. But Baptiste just known to do so much damage. One of the top, I guess, DPS supports when you look at it compared to maybe something like an Alari or a Kiriko. So, I think they kind of have to be a little more careful. They already lost 2 going into it, so, Kingpin's just going to force these guys back out and clean this one up.
Absolutely. Kingpin's still in control in this one here. Classy Turtle finishing off Vex and finishing off Uber Heavy there. And again, just Sirens are just so in control. Kingpins are just so in control right now. They come into this next one with 4 ultimates. Sirens have 4 ultimates of their own, and they still have that Bastion and Orisa combo that we've seen them used effectively already. They're going to roll across here, trying to get over to the bridge. You got to figure that combination is going to come through. Once again, spear out. We see both Bastions pumping in the damage right now. Bard on the flank, though, is unanswered, and he's going to absolutely punish and shred the Sirens, and that is going to be Kingpin. Kingpin's winning that one on the cheeky flank from Bard.
Yeah, I'm questioning Sirens' decision-making on that play there. You already lost 2 in the rotation. I mean, at that point, maybe you just try to go back, like not force these guys into a fight, because we only have 15 seconds left. It's got to be something here and now, and you can see how much damage Kingpins are able to pour out from this high ground.
The question is, can they even get to the cart in time? It's unclear if they can. They just barely do. And Scythe is going to get dropped on the way to the cart. Red Mudkip's going to need to come up big with this overclock, but they're facing an amplification matrix, and I just don't think any DPS player could deal with that. And that's just tough for Red Mudkip to deal with all that pressure, and it's just going to be Sirens in control here. They're going to stop this one before point B in a good hold.
Yeah, Kingpin's really just showing how dominant that high ground is. You know, one of the teams I've seen able to exploit that so much with the Bastion. I think if you're Sirens, it just a little bit of unfortunate timing there to just walk through into all that damage. Kingpin's able to just know when these rotates are coming, where they're coming, able to put out all the pressure in the world, right? These teams are both running extremely high damage compositions. And it's something you have to be like cautious of, right? You can't ignore it. You have to respect it.
Absolutely. And the Sirens there. I mean, Sirens, that was a great couple of combos to really pull off there, but they were struggling to deal. I mean, Kingpins are kind of they're playing in a way that it comes off very quick play-esque at times. Kind of some of the weird, unique flanks they're choosing to take, and I mean they're winning off those flanks, and it's paying off for them. But Sirens, I do hope that they're seeing these things. That they're seeing kind of the cheekiness and the kind of the gall that Kingpins is playing with at times. And this is an opportunity for Sirens to maybe see that and try to turn things around as this goes on. Kind of watch their flanks a little bit more, look for those combos a little bit more, because it seems like Kingpins are kind of getting away with murder sometimes. I would like to see maybe some adjustments here.
Yeah, we saw Vig go uncontested for a while on that defensive side. And I think another thing you have to point out is Wheezy on that Lucio. Like you said, Kingpin's just able to move with so much, speed, initiative. It's got to be put down to Vex and Wheezy making these quick rotations with the Lucio.
Absolutely great. Red Mudkip very low there early on in that one. Classy Turtle on this Sojourn, going to be looking for some railgun shots here to kind of be the go button for Kingpins as they push through around the clock tower here. Going to push in aggressively here. Bard on the flank, trying to put in some damage here on the Bastion. They do get the lamp out of Chef early once again. Vig gets taken very low, but is going to get kept alive there. Good wall onto Vex, who's very low, going to be kept alive from good support play, and the immortality field being used here from Vig, putting in a lot of pressure, a lot of damage, while still managing to keep their tank afloat right now. And they already have the amplification matrix online. They're going to use it right away. First fight here, it's going to be in hand for Vig. Sound barrier going to be turned back around by Kazi, though. We see lots of ultimates early on here as the teams continue to trade haymakers, but it's going to be Red Mudkip drawing first blood, taking down Vex.
Yeah, those walls from Red Mudkip really able to turn the fight in the side of the Sirens, I feel like. Splitting off Vex from the rest of his team just is very crucial when it comes down to both of these Baptistes trying to keep their wrists up. Anybody who misses, a cycle of healing can really be the end of a fight for you. Looks like they're going to wrap around and try to just force their way back in again.
And here we go again. We see an aggressive push in. You got to figure ultimate soon. But Vex gets caught again by the wall. Immortality field going to be used. And here comes the ultimate from Scythe. They're going to use it right away. They're going to catch Bard, who is trying to get on the flank. Great play there from Scythe. We see ultimate being used by Vex as they push in. They're going to take Uber Heavy really low. Scythe going to get caught as well. That's 2 down. Now Vex very low, and they're going to be kept up by that sound barrier from Wheezy. Again, maybe questionable use of the sound barrier, but doesn't matter in the end. There's going to be the point taken here for Kingpins.
At the beginning of that one, it almost looked like Sirens had that one in the bag. Vex fell very low, a nice wall from Red Mudkip, and Scythe able to pick up Bard on that Bastional. It seemed like everything was going their way, and then suddenly it kind of just fell apart. Kingpin's able to get a lot of value. Vex with that Terra Surge in the back. Just hard to shut down when they're on a roll, I guess.
Absolutely. We see ultimate in from from Bard there. It does a lot of damage. It's going to be Classy Turtle finishing off the kill onto Scythe. We see Vex pushing in very aggressively. But what an ultimate from Uber Heavy to turn this thing around. They're going to use the Mei ultimate as well. That is an effective turnaround there. What a great counterattack there from Sirens.
Yeah, Sirens well played there. But, you know, if you're Kingpins, I think you're almost happy with that one. You expended the Bastion ult, but you drew so much out of the Sirens. And yeah, they do get to set up on this high ground that Kingpins showed us how advantageous it can be, but they get the cart through the door, they draw several ultimates out, and now they can kind of just make their way back in nice and slow.
Absolutely. Now an opportunity on the high ground here for Sirens. They're in a good position right now. They got to really resist. You got to figure maybe 3 or 4 more fights. And an ultimate now being used. Chef going to use that amplification matrix here to kind of hold off this initial push and stem the tide here. But here goes Classy Turtle again. The flank being used, but it doesn't matter. It's just Scythe with 1 grenade killing 3 Kingpins. Scythe with a single bomb wiping out half the team.
Yeah, just an outstanding play from Scythe and the rest of the Sirens there. I think that might have been a windowed grenade, which is why it did so much damage.
Wow.
So just like a great combo there. Excellent use. Now you see that they're trapped in that small hallway. Just so much damage coming out from the Bastion. Looks like they're going to just fight the low ground here, though. Content to leave Sirens up on the high.
You know, it's hard to blame Kingpins here. We're going to see Sirens now try to get aggressive back on the low ground. Scythe pushing in here on this Bastion. They have ultimate in hand. We see the ultimate being used here from the Orisa as well. Vex going to find nothing with that one, but it puts so much damage onto the Sirens here. Ultimate now being used by Uber Heavy in return, but Red Mudkip is the only one to fall so far here. Classy Turtle finding Kazi as well, but it's going to be Bard taking the fall here. Uber Heavy trying to put Sirens back into this here, but it doesn't matter. The pressure and relentless offense of the Kingpins will lead to an Eichenwald victory and head to match point for the Kingpins.
That map looked like a strong performance from Kingpins, especially their point to attack and defense. I was incredibly impressed with it. You know, their understanding of how to manage this high ground, when to attack, when to defend, where to go. Especially, you saw Bard with that nice Bastion flank wrapping around for that 3K. I think, you know, they just showed some dominance there and understanding of the second point.
Absolutely. That was a really good one here. My hair just went crazy because I was sitting here like this the whole time. But that being said, it's going to be Kingpins now up 2-0 going into halftime here. Again, now on match point, Siren's going to have to rally this thing back, find a way to come up with the big W here and pull off that reverse sweep. So tough matchup here for Sirens to get back into. Nonetheless, Kingpins now on match point. We'll be coming back here after a short halftime break. Stay tuned. More Harmony Tier action coming right up. Welcome back, everybody. Hope you enjoyed your short halftime break. Refreshed your drink, grabbed a snack, whatever you need to enjoy the rest of this Harmony Tier matchup tonight. Once again, I'm MisterYeti, joined by Henry on the Analyst desk. Henry, we've had a pretty interesting matchup here tonight. Kingpins are up 2-0, and it at times has been very, very cheeky the way they've been winning some of these fights. But some of that kind of unique and aggressive style has really paid off for them so far.
Yeah, we've seen a variety of different strategies from Kingpins on the dive, as well as the Orisa Brawl, with a various mix of DPS characters. You know, Sirens looking their best on this Orisa Brawl. We saw a glimpse of their dive, but it just didn't look as strong as the Kingpins. So they're opting to play more of a brawl strategy, just trying to get up in Kingpin's face and melt him down with the likes of a Bastion, a Sojourn, Baptiste, all of the high damage characters that we see played today.
Absolutely, and we see now going to a new map here for their post-halftime map is Sirens, trying to change it up and a completely unique map in the way it's played. It's Circuit Royale, so a very different look here coming out from Sirens. And we talked about this going a little bit into halftime, Henry. You said how Circuit was just, we're questioning, like, do they have a Sigma player? Do they have a Widowmaker player? And to be honest, neither of us were really truly sure.
Yeah, I would be a little surprised to see neither team run out of spawn room without something like a Widow or a Hanzo, or even an Ash, just any kind of long range DPS hit scan that you can just put a lot of free damage in at range. Especially if you're playing into a brawl composition, getting the first few shots in can lead to a pick, and that's just fight one if you want to go that way. We have seen a lot of Sojourn as a replacement, and we did see both teams running that Sojourn from Eichenwald, so I wouldn't be surprised if these teams run out onto the field with a Sojourn on both sides.
Absolutely. Now we come back into this one, so a little bit of a different look here. Looking to potentially see some Widowmakers in play. Like you said, wouldn't be surprised to see the Sojourn. Sojourn's working really well for both teams here. Kingpins, with the change over here on this new match, they're going to be having to play a little bit of a different approach coming into this one. And I don't believe we have any substitutions. I don't think any of the bench players are here today. So I think it's just what you see is what you get. For Kingpins here. Actually, correction, they do have players coming in here. We do see Doha coming in for Bard, so a little bit of a different look now with that change over there. Sirens with the 5
we were wrong. we were so wrong.
We were so wrong. What were we wrong about?
I don't know. We seemed a little bit doubtful that we were going to see a double sniper Sigma composition, and here we are, both teams playing it. Yeah, I think this is a classic skill competition. Hit your shots. But in a raw stats, I don't know if I can give an upper hand to either team. Both of these teams seem to have their pop-off moments. So it's going to really come down to who can hit that first shot or who can take the better space. And we've seen Kingpins, especially that Eichenwald .2 hold. I like to favor them here because of how strong they seem to be at holding specific angles and spots, and I want to see him carry that over to this map.
Absolutely. Now here we go with Sirens on the offense first. Kingpin's the only one with a Widowmaker here, so this is a relatively uncontested Widowmaker, so Classy Turtle may have a huge advantage in this matchup. They are on fire, though. Dynamite hit there by Scythe, and we're taking a quick look as to what exactly... here comes a push in now from from Sirens. They're going to clear the corner there, but it's going to be 2 headshots from the Kingpins to push back the Sirens, and a great answer right there from Sirens from Kingpins there.
Yeah, Red Medkip able to grab 2 actually, so it looks like this fight might flip around. You can just see the volatile nature of this double sniper composition on Circuit Royale. Just the long sight lines providing both of these teams a lot of value, and they're just going to chase it down, try to drive these guys back as far as they can for this cart progress. And you can see this is just really a battle of who can get their DPS set up and get the most out of them.
Absolutely. Here we go. Vig now on this Illari here. Illari now getting our first real look at Illari here in Harmony Tier this week. Pushing back right now are the Sirens onto Vex, bringing Vex very low. The Widowmaker being isolated and pushed back here by Scythe. Great work from the Sirens, keeping that Widowmaker at bay. The push back into the cart now being done, but here comes the ultimate from Vig on the Illari here. Gonna pick off one. Now the Sunburst is going off here. Gonna find another and another. That's gonna be Vig leading the way here on this Illari. That is just a powerful, powerful ultimate.
Yeah, they're able to save that first point capture just by a thread. That Illari ultimate, like you said, just so powerful. Claims, I guess, almost like 4 eliminations there just out of the damage. We only saw really 2 in the kill feed, but I think it just helped take out that Sigma of Uber Heavy and really won them that fight there. You know, if you can take a Sigma out of a battle, it's game over for your team. So, you know, both of these guys looking to get one, and there's the Sigma up in the air.
Good ultimate being used there, but not really able to follow up at all, where the Kingpins after Vex's ult. 5 ultimates in the pocket of Sirens here as they look to close out point A. They have so much potential to push in here. Here comes the amplification matrix in from Chef, and we see a good Dragon Strike taking down Scythe here, but a great lift in return from from Uber Heavy, but no follow-up able to really be found, and it's going to be Classy Turtle finding Kazi's head. So once again, it was a good ultimate usage there from Sirens, just not the follow-up they needed.
Yeah, a couple ultimates, a couple blows exchanged, but in the end, it looks like Kingpins are coming out on top. You see Classy Turtle just putting all of the work in on this Widowmaker, showing how effective these one-shot characters are. You know, if you're Kingpins, you're coming up on this Captive Sun with only 50 seconds left, and that might just be like the end of it if you can't have like a nice Transcendence from Kazi. So I think it's all on this Zenyatta to keep the Sirens team up and running.
And here we go. Kazi now pushing in here. Has the Transcendence in hand, so they will be able to push in very aggressively with this if they desire. Vex gets caught and taken down, thanks very much in part to that Discord orb being put on by Kazi, and Kazi on this Zenyatta helping lead the way. Vig is kind of being staggered out here a little bit, and it's going to be finished off there by Kazi on the cart.
Yeah, what a disrespectful stagger. Come on, guys.
Absolutely.
But they're looking to get this like sort of upper level dominance. So making sure that Zenyatta won't be returning is important. But you know, with Classy Turtle down, that's a lot of the pressure out of the way, as well as Doha, and you really have no damage out on the board if you're Kingpins, and you kind of just have to back up and give this choke over to the Sirens.
No question about it here. Kingpins falling back right now. Really just absolutely on their heels. The Sirens continue to put up the aggression. Here comes the amplification matrix. Continued aggression now, but the healing pylon is out here from Vig. So they will be able to stand in this window and just kind of keep answering back. But again, they're just gonna LOS that window and just kind of wait it out. And now they're gonna push in with ultimates. They do get a big lift off, but it's not really gonna be able to be followed up on with a great Transcendence from Kazi. Gonna kind of prevent that from really going anywhere. We saw the ultimate in from Vig, but nothing to follow up on it, and just Sirens just kind of punishing them and pushing through. Classy Turtle did get a pick, but it's just not enough. This is all Sirens right now.
Yeah, Kazi's the only one that died that fight, but I feel like Kazi is actually the reason they won that fight. What an incredible Transcendence, able to stop all of that damage from the Flux and the Captive Sun, allowing Sirens to take that second point and steered on into the third point. They are down uber heavy, so if Kingpins want to set up on this high ground, now would be the time. You don't have a Sigma to block the shots of Scythe and Red Mudkip. So I think, you know, take the primary positioning, but you have to be careful of this cart. They're just taking it all the way in extremely fast. Just want to close this map out.
Absolutely right now. Big opportunity here for Sirens, especially with that lift in hand from Uber Heavy. Dragon Strike coming up from Red Mudkip. Sirens very much in control as the cart makes the final corner here. We see Amplification Matrix in from Wheezy, and it's going to be Classy Turtle finishing off Scythe here. Now Vex going to push down and into the team here. They're going to get a Discord orb though. They're very much in a tough spot right now. The lift going to be used by Uber Heavy onto Wheezy, and Uber Heavy just going up to the high ground and frankly taking matters into their own hands. But Doha on the low ground is just doing work, finding 3, looking for a 4th here. But Doha very low now on fire, going to have to fall back. But that was such an interesting one with both Doha and Uber Heavy just kind of taking matters into their own hands.
Yeah, like you said, it can be really one player having a nice pop-off play to turn the tides here with this composition that we see from both sides. You know, I think if you're Sirens here, the bob has to be the key to success. If you get a nice bob on this high ground or on the cart, I think it might just be game over for Kingpins unless you can respond with a nice Captive Sun, and here they go.
Absolutely. Now here we go. Bob in from Scythe. But Scythe is going to get taken down there by the Storm Arrow from Doha. This fight on the stairs has just been working out purely in Kingpin's favor. Oh, what? Bob? Bob? Bob?
Hello?
Okay, Bob. All right, cool, Scythe. Very cool. Scythe's dead, but Bob doing all the work right now. Got to somebody check their computer. I feel like they might be cheating. Bob, that is, I should say, not Scythe. Scythe's doing great.
A little bit of aimbot action out there.
Kingpin's now on the push in here. It's Uber Heavy getting right in the face of that Widowmaker, not able to really do anything with it, but keeping the Widowmaker very much at bay. And Uber Heavy now is, well, in a tough spot, but still pushing back. They will fall here. That was a really interesting fight.
Yeah, I'm a little bit confused at what just happened with Uber Heavy in the backline. You only have 30 seconds left, so you know, being down your tank and waiting for Uber Heavy to come all the way back is a little bit of a nuisance, right? Because you're only going to get like 10 seconds to contest compared to Kingpins, where they can set up where they like.
Absolutely. Kingpins now is setting up here, getting ready for this final defense here. See Wrecking Ball coming in with the pile driver. On top is going to be Doha finding Scythe to kick off the kills here. Classy Turtle very low, going to get forced out, but here comes the Dragon Strike in from Doha. Going to be negated out here by this Transcendence. Now Sirens trying to find some kills here, using that healing to their advantage. We see Discord Orb onto the Wrecking Ball here. Vig on the Zenyatta as well, dueling with Kazi. It's going to be Red Mudkip finishing off Classy Turtle, and there's Kazi finding Vig as well. But it's going to be Doha coming back on this Hanzo with a 2K, looking for a third here onto Uber Heavy. You see Immortality Field now invested from Sirens as Uber Heavy going to continue the push here. They have the lift in hand, Gravitic Flux ready to be used, but they have no healers with them. They're working on getting healed up right now, trying to stay in this. We see the lift coming in. They're very low right now, going to be kept barely afloat by Kazi and Chef here. Is Uber Heavy finally going to be taken down here by Classy Turtle, and one by one the Sirens will fall and Kingpins will hold just before the final cap.
Oh man, I'm on the edge of my seat right now. What a last fight that was. You know, that last corner is such a difficult one to round. Even if you have an incredible pick early, it's just the defender spawns right there, so they can get back nice and fast, and we saw that kind of happen in overtime. Just Kingpin's able to return to the fight so much faster than Sirens, so you really have to play flawlessly if you're Sirens there. And with no supports, I feel kind of bad. Uber Heavy doing all of this heavy lifting, but it's not enough. Unable to survive without the supports of Kazi and Chef.
Yeah, absolutely right now. Sirens have an opportunity here to really get a hold after a strong push, but Kingpins did bounce back there after a really tough opening start there, especially that second point. That was a great point there for Sirens. Kind of the first real kind of great moments we've seen from Sirens here tonight, kind of pushing into Kingpins there, but now Kingpins still with the opportunity to close this thing out with basically a full pull on this map. They're going to come out again with the Widowmaker, Classy Turtle on the Widowmaker, and on offense here, you got to love that pick. It could really be the difference here between what's going to happen here between Sirens and them.
Yeah, I almost think that the Widowmaker on attack will provide Kingpins with a lot more freedom to just take things the way they want. You can be a lot more patient. Just wait for your Widow to take these 1v1s because you are playing at a longer effective range than the Sirens are with this Ashe. So I think it's up to Classy Turtle really to start things off for them.
Right now, here we go with Kingpins on the defense here. Classy Turtle's the one to watch. Going to see what they can do here. That's a great start right there, finding Red Mudkip's head. And that's going to really just kind of set the tone here. Barring a pick off here from Sirens, they're already on their heels, being forced back by Vex, forced back all the way basically to point A. And Sirens right now, I'm sorry, Kingpins right now are in control, but Kazi with the pick onto Doha. Kind of a surprise pick there onto Doha, and it's going to be Classy Turtle taken down as well now. Uber Heavy pushing in, taking them down, and now Sirens getting the pushback here. Despite that opening pick from Kingpins, they didn't really capitalize on it.
Yeah, we saw how much work Doha was putting in for Kingpins on that defensive half, so losing Doha early is a bit of a struggle, right? You see all these resources committed early from Kingpins, so I think Sirens might be able to take this one and just force back Kingpins to win this fight.
Kingpins now on the push in here, trying to finish this one off, end it with a 3-0. Vig right now popping the ultimate, and it's a huge one! It's so big! It's massive! Vig with such an ultimate! My god! That is Kingpins gonna push through here, point A. Put all the bodies on the cart. That's Kingpins, point A.
Welcome to the Alari meta, everybody.
Here we go.
For those of you that may be doubting if Alari is a must pick,
my god,
please view the clips that Vig is putting up.
Absolutely. I mean, there's just, what else can you say there? What else can you say? That's just, there's nothing. I mean, it's one character, it's one hero, just absolutely wiping the floor just because people dared to get close to each other. And now Classy Turtle with the finish onto Uber Heavy there. We see the ultimate being completely whiffed there from Vex, but it doesn't matter because Classy Turtle is just going to put this team on their back for just a minute, finding Scythe as well. Kazi getting caught too. Kingpin's just so firmly in control right now.
Yeah, it looked like Vex was going to flux the Sigma of Uber Heavy, but just gets dinked by Classy Turtle before it can even go off. So I wouldn't really consider that a wasted ultimate since you still picked up the kill. So, you know, I think if you're Kingpins, don't feel bad about that one. It just kind of happened a good way. You're still winning the map, right? You're able to set up here. You're able to force this choke, get Vex where you want him. And that's going to be a really strong thing, especially with this Dragon Strike out.
Dragon Strike goes through. Kazi going to answer with the ultimate there, but what a great lift there from Uber Heavy, and Scythe right there as well. Uber Heavy, again, trying to do everything they can to lead Sirens here, and that's a great team fight win. And honestly now, if you're Kingpins, this is a tough push in, really a tough point to finish off here, and right now, Sirens kind of got in control very quickly.
Yeah, both windows up for you know, the teams here, but Red Mudkip coming up on that Dragon Strike will put Sirens at the ultimate advantage for this next fight. You do have a lot of time to work with, so if you're Kingpins, I think maybe setting Classy Turtle up to look for an early pick is the answer here.
Here we go. Now Chef using their ultimate, amplification matrix out, but Uber Heavy is down. But Scythe gonna get the answer onto Classy Turtle, so Sirens trying to stabilize out here. There goes Red Mudkip finding two! Red Mudkip here on this Hanzo with a big Dragon Strike, finishing off two there. And Sirens now bouncing back, trying to will victory from the... Oh my god,
hold
that
up.
was so sudden. What?
What is going on here?
What just happened? That was so sudden. Red Mudkip turned that thing. Oh, Classy. Whoa, Classy. Classy got a
he missed his grapple shot there. Got a little bit too far.
I'm not really sure what I just saw happen. The Harmony Tier at its finest, folks, is what I just saw. I'm pretty sure with Kingpins coming back there. Classy Turtle finding Kazi's head. And it's going to be Sirens now falling back as the Kingpins will push to point B and push themselves one step closer to match point and a 3-0 win.
Yeah, Classy Turtle just doing the job of a Widowmaker so perfectly right now. Whenever you start a fight, it should always be the first kill going the way of that Widowmaker. That is a good sign that you're doing well. And every fight, it seems like Kingpins open off with a pick from Classy Turtle. Especially, I think Doha is able to finish these fights, but Classy Turtle's getting them started. It's like a nice cycle that they're able to repeat to just keep this cart pushing. We see a ROM swap from Uber Heavy. Maybe just looking to brawl out here, especially with this Bastion and Soldier pick, as well as a Lucio. They've just completely swapped comps here. They will be on a massive ult disadvantage, as we see almost 5 ults for Kingpins minus that window. And so it's got to be some speed here from Sirens, but the Dragon Strike comes in, splits them off. This is a moment. They're at weakness.
And now a big lift here from Vex, trying to finish off the Sirens here. Uber Heavy gonna get taken down. Now Sirens so close to giving this one up here, but they just forgot. What did you got the cart? the cart, Sirens. You forgot something. But match point to Kingpins here, taking the 3-0 victory.
I have no words.
No words. No words. Not really any there. My goodness, that was a bit of a blunder there from Sirens here. They had so many good looks here on this map. But in the end, you just get the cart. The cart. You just left the cart there. Big mistake.
I feel bad for Sirens on that one. They did leave the cart, but looking at the ultimate economy, you have 4 ults for Kingpins to none. So I think they had that fight in the bag no matter where they took it. And especially just the dominance they've shown throughout this series. A clean 3-0. You know, actually, I take that back. I wouldn't necessarily call it clean. It was a bumpy road. Sirens put up a hell of a fight, but Kingpins asserting their dominance, taking that 3-0.
Kingpins very much in control of this match kind of throughout. Sirens there struggled to really find much footing at most points of it. They really had a lot of great moments. Red Mudkip really shined at a lot of points, as well as Uber Heavy, obviously, for Sirens. But Kingpins were just in control the whole time of the matchup here. Who would you say, who stood out to you as the MVP of this matchup here tonight, Henry?
Yeah, I know Doha just came in, but it feel like they really brought Doha in as this executioner to just completely eradicate Sirens. So I kind of want to say Doha, but at the same time, we saw Kingpins like all around. I think Vig just absolutely outstanding performance through all 3 maps. So I would have to give it to Vig here, but an honorable mention to Doha.
I got to give a shout out to Classy Turtle. I think Classy looked fantastic tonight. Really shined in a lot of tough spots. And I was super impressed by what I saw with them, especially on the Widowmaker. Kind of a difference-making pick there on Circuit Royale. They were the only one to go Widowmaker. And I think that was just the difference that they needed in order to finish this one off. Just so you guys are aware, again, we have our B stream going, but it looks like that one just actually wrapped up with Izanami taking the 3-0 W over Colorado Carbon. And here, obviously, 3-0 Kingpins over Sirens. So looks like our broadcasts tonight are over, but stay tuned. Tomorrow we have your Transcendence tier features on both of these channels. A couple of absolute bangers coming your way here with Culture and Yoink Esports on this stream, and Frost Nova and Dapper Dynasty. That is a tough thing to say. Dapper Dynasty on the B stream over there, taking on Frost Nova. So should be a very good one. Tune in for both of those. Should be a ton of fun, as well as Bronze Banter to follow on Tuesday here. So should be 2 great matchups tomorrow. But thanks to Hippy tonight here on the production. And of course, thank you to Henry on the analyst desk. It was a pleasure working with you here tonight. For everybody here in Tranquility, we appreciate you tuning in, and we will see you tomorrow.